everyone, and welcome back to a brand new edition of The Odds Honest Truth. I am Craig Orbanoff alongside, I'm going to try to point the right way. There he is, Rich Wilhelm in the 2 box, talking to you all things betting sports. Make sure you check the show out at Odds Honest Truth on Twitter. And of course, our incredible partners over at Chalkboard. You can follow them on Twitter at Chalkboard HQ. But the real magic of Chalkboard is within Chalkboard itself. Download the app, join the Odds Honest Truth community board, and bet with us. You can track all of our picks and plays. We have great picks from our community going in there every single night. We have Matt Bernier of, not just in the money fame, but TV fame. You've seen him on NBC. You know him, you love him. And he's giving out college basketball picks over on Chalkboard. We'll be joined by all kinds of friends and family of the In the Money Media Network later on in the show. Your NHL favorites, Thomas. We have a new analyst, Jarrett Strenner, joining us to talk about the NBA. David Dubovy with college basketball. Alan Studer of the Stewcast for college football. John Hazlett and In the Money's own Jonathon Kinchen giving out 2 picks for the NFL in just a little bit. But Rich, before we get into it, before we get to our friends around the network, let's talk some Thursday night football. Our bread and butter. We like to hit Thursday hard and heavy and play with a little house money over the weekend. And I need some house money because I'm on a bit of a cold streak. I'm giving out winners on the show. I'm talking about winners, and then I'm not betting my winners. So I need some help. You're going to give it to me. Talk to me about this Thursday night football game.
So when you're on a cold streak, the one thing you want to do is bet like a wuss, because that way you get a little bit of money back, and then you can bet a little crazier over the weekend. So there's a lot of wuss bets to be had for the Cowboys, just simply because there's a lot of players that we don't know if they're going to play on Thursday. We don't know the capacity they're going to play on both sides of the ball. The one person we know that's going to play is Dak Prescott. And there's either, he's going to either have Amari Cooper on the field or he's not going to have Amari Cooper on the field. And either way, I think against the Saints defense, he can throw for 2 touchdowns. So the line right now is over under 1.5. I'm going over with Dak here. It's $25 to win 36. And again, that's $11. It's nothing crazy, but I mean, it's something. And obviously you can bet a little more than 25 on this, which I plan on doing. If you looked at the reports from the Cowboys, they're talking about lessening the load for Ezekiel Elliott, which means there's probably going to be more passing plays in this game. And the one person that I know is a security blanket for Dak Prescott is Dalton Schultz, who is at 44.5 right now. Going to go right into that lead-in. $25 wins you 45.83. He plays better when all the weapons are on the field. It's going to take the pressure off of him. They're going to be too busy covering CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper if he plays. So it's just going to be – it might be a tight end show. You're going to see a trend here. I'm going all Cowboys here. I think Greg the Leg, is going to have over 2.5 extra points. I don't see the Cowboys scoring less than 21 in this game, but I don't see the Saints scoring a lot of points in this game. So Greg the Leg, over 2.5 extra points, $25 wins you 46.74. We'll continue the trend. Cowboys, I have them at minus 4.5. $25 wins you 47.73. And again, I said I don't see the Saints scoring a lot of points in this game, which made me go with the under. The under for this game is 47.5. $25 wins you 47.73. There's a lot of injuries, like I said, with Alvin Kamara getting a limited session in, with Ingram being limited. I mean, both of them did not play last week. Tony Jones Jr. didn't do anything last week. Taysom Hill is going to be the starter, which, he gets run happy. I think the Cowboys can kind of contain him, and he's not the best thrower in the world. And then the Cowboys, they need that chicken noodle soup game, like he said. It's just they've been looking off these past couple weeks, and I think they get right against the Saints on Thursday night. So pro Cowboys, do everything you can on that side of the ball.
And the Saints are just the chicken noodle soup for the NFL because, right, they were the chicken noodle soup for the Bills. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do the same thing for the Cowboys as well. I think this could be a 10 to 14-point game. I'm very comfortable in this spread at 4.5, and I really like the props that you gave out as well. The Saints were a team earlier this year I thought looked pretty formidable, but the injury bug has just bit them real hard. And when you got a team bit hard by the injury bug, I think it should be one of your kind of weekly moves to bet against them because let's just being frank, this isn't a team that's going to put up a ton of points, and eventually that defense is going to wear out because you can't just keep going three and outs, and expect for your defense to keep bailing out your offense. So I think there's some money to be made here on Thursday night. I will take what is left in my bankroll. Maybe I'll put a little bit of extra back in and try to recoup some of my losses from the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I really like the Dallas Cowboys this week. -4.5 seems like easy money to me. And pretty decent odds. So I will definitely take that and maybe even buy or sell a couple of extra points. I don't know the right terminology there, but go a little alternate line, maybe bet it at 6.5 or 7.5 and get even better odds because I think this one's just going to be a blowout. What do you think about that?
I think you could do it. I wouldn't go any higher than 6.5, but if you want to get fancy and go up to 6.5, I'm for it because I agree with you. I think it's going to end up being like a 10 to 14 point game, but I'm a wuss on Thursday, as I told you. So I'm going to stick with my 4.5. You go 6.5 and watch them win by 5.
I mean, there's a reason your bankroll is better than mine, though. So that's and I will leave it at that. Rich, anything else you want to add about Thursday Night Football?
I don't want to add anything else about Thursday Night Football, but I do want to add that we do have a nice giveaway going on right now.
Oh, yes,
sir. We forgot to talk about it. Why don't you tell them about the giveaway?
Let me be back. Stall. So here we go, guys. It's the bottle of In the Money Media whiskey. This stuff is absolutely delicious. It's an Empire Rye made by the Albany Distilling Company. It's a straight rye whiskey finished in apple brandy barrels for aged no less than 4 years. Peter Thomas Fornatel himself picked the barrel and put the whiskey in the barrel and has been giving it away as a gift through the TRF. So if you'd like to make a charitable donation to the TRF, you can go to trfinc.org/players, make a charitable donation to the TRF, and then get this bottle as a lovely gift. Or what you can do for completely free, head on over to Chalkboard, download the app, join the Odds Honest Truth community, and message in any single thread you want. We're keeping track. #ITM Whiskey. It's really easy. Most of our people are putting it in the bad beat section because after a bad beat, you're gonna want a shot of this bad boy. But it's an absolutely incredibly fun whiskey. We're gonna pick the winner at random, but all you got to do is download Chalkboard, join our community, and message ITM Whiskey. #ITM Whiskey. If you just do ITM Whiskey, though, we'll give you credit anyway.
We'll give it to you. Why don't you tell them how to join the board from the app? Because I know it's a 2-step process here. So
yeah. So once you download the app, all you're gonna do is you're gonna hit this guy right up here. Those little three buttons you see, and there's a nice thing that says join a board. You hit that, and I'm already in our board, so I can't find it. But you'll scroll down. You'll find Odds Honest Truth. You'll hit join, and then you hit those 3 bars again, and there you go. And there it is. Odds Honest Truth, right there. And then here's all your things, and you go into bad beats, and there it is. ITM Whiskey, ITM Whiskey, ITM Whiskey. So if you're gonna want to win this bottle, you're gonna have to get involved. We will pick the winner next week on Odds Honest Truth. So 1 week from today, Wednesday night, we will let you know who's the proud owner of a delicious bottle of whiskey. I have mine. You got to get yours. Get involved in Chalkboard today. Speaking of ITM in the money, we have an in the money significant player joining the Odds Honest Truth family this evening. If you're a listener and fan of In the Money Media, you know Jonathon Kinchen. If you're a viewer of Fox Sports, you know Jonathon Kinchen. Odds are, if you're watching this on YouTube, so you know him, you love him. JK at UT Big Hair on Twitter. 2 plays for the NFL this weekend, making his debut on Odds Honest Truth. Jonathon is going to give his plays, and then we're going to kick it over to our other Jonathon Hazlett. I don't know if you'll like being called the other Jonathon, but lots of NFL plays coming your way. Jonathons, plural. Take it away.
What's going on, Odds Honest Truth crew? I'm here with a little bit of a play. I'll be doing this weekly throughout the season. We'll even get into a little bit of basketball after football season's over. But my play this week, I love teasers. I think when you can find 7 points and put them in your favor, you have a much better chance of hitting. Let's all remember the spread's basically created to make these games a coin flip. That's why they do it the way they do it. And I think if you can get 7 in your favor, you can get into a nice position. I'm going to go with 2 teams coming in off of bye weeks. I love that in the NFL. Top-notch coaching, awesome quarterbacks, getting some time to prepare, working on the small things, the little details that help make the difference in the games. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I like them off the bye coming in. You should be able to get the number down to 2.5 or 2, depending on what book you're using. But last time I saw it was at 9.5. So I'd like getting it under that field goal. Basically just needing the Chiefs to win coming in off that bye. And then I'm going to use the Cardinals as well. The Bears just aren't very good. Justin Fields still up in the air with the ribs. I'd predict he might not play again this week. And even if he does, I still like the Cardinals coming in off a bye. Their defense has been outstanding, and I think that they'll really be able to pull this one off. You can get them down to almost 1 point, sometimes maybe even a pick, depending on where your line is. So that's going to be my play for the week, a 2-team teaser using the Chiefs and the Cardinals. Good luck.
Hey guys, John Hazel here with the picks of the week. Last week, 3-0 on Thanksgiving, 1-2 on Sunday, so 4-2 overall. Not too bad. We still made some money, but let's see if we could double down on that for this week. Game number 1, I'm going to take the Cardinals -8 over the Bears. The Cardinals, off of a bye week, I think they got a little bit healthy. Murray and Hopkins should both play, and that just makes this team even better. Well-rested Cardinals over the Bears -8. I think the Cardinals roll. Best record in the NFL, and to me, they're the best team in the NFL right now until someone proves that they're not. So give me, once again, the Cardinals -8. The next game I'm going to give you, game number 2, is Tampa and the Falcons. I like the over 50.5 here. I could see this being a 35 to 20 type game with it not being that close. I think Tampa rolls, but I think the Falcons can at least keep it somewhat close and get us over that number. Game number 3, Rams-Jaguars. I love the Rams in this game, coming off a couple losses. I think this is a get-right game for them. I think they can put up some points, no question. And that's in spite of their coach. I think McVay and Meyer, for that matter, is probably the two of the worst coach teams in the NFL, if you ask me. So the Rams roll -13 over the Jaguars. Then the last game we'll do is the 49ers -3.5 over the Seahawks. And that's without my boy Deebo Samuel, absolutely my favorite player in the league. The Seahawks are just a mess. I don't know if Russell Wilson's right or not with his hand. It just seems like something just isn't there. Pete Carroll doesn't seem into it anymore. I think you're going to see a lot of changes in Seattle. I think the Niners roll in this game. Give me them -3.5, which should be -7 in my opinion. So just to recap, the Cardinals -8, Tampa Falcons over 50.5, the Rams -13, and the 49ers -3.5. Good luck this week. Go get some money.
One of my close personal friends, Jarrett Strenner, knows the NBA inside and out. Will be joining Odds Honest Truth Weekly with some Thursday NBA plays. So the show comes out on Wednesdays. He's going to be giving out plays for Thursday, but you're going to have to stay tuned to Chalkboard to get his final opinions on spreads and player props, because a lot of information doesn't come out until the day of. So he's going to be taking a look at the game, analyzing the game, giving you some picks, and then you're going to have to head on over to Chalkboard to get the final bets and plays that way on Thursday. So we're going to kick it over to Jarrett, and then David Dubovi is back to talk some college basketball. Lots of great college basketball action happening on Chalkboard, not just from David, but from a lot of contributors of the In the Money family. So it's time for some hoops. Jared and David, take it away.
Hey, thank you guys. So our national games for Thursday night, we have the Bulls at the Knicks. Bulls have looked great so far this season. DeMar DeRozan has looked phenomenal. He's scoring 25.9 points per game. That's enough for 6th best in the league. Lonzo has also looked great too. He's scoring 44% from 3. That's a career high for him. And let's not forget about Zach LaVine. Over the last 10 games, he's scoring 24.9 points per game. Knicks, meanwhile, have looked pretty mediocre, but huge news coming from them this week with Tom Thibodeau announcing that Kemba Walker will be out of the rotation going forward. Alec Burks will be taking his place in the starting lineup. He had some length, he had some defense, and it also allows Julius Randle to play that point forward role that he thrives in. You could see it in the last game. He scored 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Now, going back to Kemba, you may think this is kind of drastic, but Fred Katz put out a tweet earlier this week that with Kemba on the court, The Knicks' defensive rating is dead last in the league, and with him off, it jumps all the way up to first place. I think with Kemba out and with Alec Burks in, this is going to be a close game, but the Knicks could pull this one out. They're at home, and I think they could get it done. Looking at our West Coast matchup, we see the Blazers hosting the Spurs. Now, the huge stat going into this one is that the Blazers are 10-1 at home. Meanwhile, the Spurs are 2-7 on the road. All signs point to the Blazers having a big win here, but there is one big if. Will Damian Lillard play? Now, he was out Tuesday against the Pistons, a game in which they did win. CJ really helped them out there. But if he's out, it could cause some problems for the Blazers. They're playing a team that's led by DeJounte Murray, the point guard for the Spurs, who's leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists. He's scoring 19.1 points per game, having 8.5 boards per game, and 8.1 assists per game. Now, he could cause a couple problems, but I still think at the end of the day, the Blazers should take this Dame or no Dame. Anthony Simons, albeit he's not a true point guard, he can fill in when needed. And CJ has really helped out this season. He's scoring 20.4 points per game and having 4.5 assists per game. So maybe you might want to wait a little bit, see what happens tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, see if Dame will be greenlit to play or if he's still going to be out. I think you'll still probably be safe betting on the Blazers here. So I'm going Knicks and Blazers. Check out my picks on Chalkboard, and I'll see you guys next week.
What's going on, everyone? Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. Here are 3 college basketball games to keep an eye on this weekend. First, on Friday, December 3rd, we got 8th-ranked Kansas versus St. John's, both coming into this at 5-1. This is a Big East, Big 12 battle. St. John's is off to a hot start, but it's not going to be enough versus dominant blue blood in Kansas, and for that reason, I got Kansas winning this one big. Next up on Saturday the 4th, we got 16th ranked Bama versus number 3 ranked Gonzaga. Zags are coming off a tough loss versus Duke, and for that reason, they're gonna be too much for Bama. Chet Holmgren and Drew Time, too much for this Bama team. Bama's played well, don't get me wrong, but for that reason, I got Bama winning. I got Gonzaga winning, actually. And I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game, so I also got the over in this one. And lastly, on Saturday night, we got another Big East, Big 12 battle with 19th ranked Iowa State and Creighton. Creighton's a very tough Big East team, and I think they pull the upset in this one versus number 19 Iowa State. I think Creighton wins, and they cover, and they pull the upset. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next week.
From the hardwood to the ice, it is now time for everyone's favorite Thomas Crincoli talking about the NHL. Thomas has been on fire. He's given out winners every single week. So, Thomas, help me make some more money. I got to make up for some bad bets. How am I going to end up in the green?
What's going on, guys? This is Tom Crincoli with the Odds Honest Truth podcast, coming to you with Thursday picks for December 2nd. Can't believe we're already in December. This year's flying by. Anyway, let's get into it. I have a couple awesome picks for you guys. And I'm going to start with the Florida Panthers against the Buffalo Sabres. This one's pretty straightforward. Florida, good team. Buffalo, not so great of a team. One of my favorite picks this entire season was the Buffalo Sabres plus 1.5. I think they're just one of those underdogs that are going to put up a fight. Be a nasty team to play against. They don't have the most talented lineup. The goaltending's not really there. I don't know what they're going to do with that situation. They just kind of seem to keep losing players, don't have a bunch of skill in the lineup. Florida, on the other hand, is one of the top teams in the league. They have one of the best rosters, front end, back end, and then goaltending. Who would have thought Sergei Bobrovsky? He's back. He's great. And depending on him or whether him or Spencer Knight are going, I like the Florida Panthers minus 1.5. It looks like you can get it at some pretty good odds. That might move a little bit. Plus, the Panthers are home too. They just came off a close win against the Washington Capitals that somehow they rallied and came back. So maybe that would be a wake-up call, going down 3 goals at one point in that game and having to rally all the way back. They're not going to want to get caught in that situation. Look for the Panthers to get off to a hot start. against the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday and cover that -1.5 puck line. All right. Second game, New Jersey Devils and Minnesota Wild. So the Devils are going to be on the road in this one. We all know Jack Hughes is coming back. The Devils haven't had, the greatest start to the season, but they put up a good fight, I would say, in a lot of games they've played. Not the best game against San Jose the other night. Minnesota Wild, pretty good talented team. But what I'm looking for here is a Devils team getting healthy again. I think they're going to be putting up a fight. I do not promise a win from the Devils in this one, but I do promise for them to cover that +1.5 puck line. It's looking pretty good odds right there. So if it moves and you're not comfortable taking the line, don't take it. But if it's good, take it, nail it. And as always, if you're taking the puck line, sprinkle a little bit on that money line too. You can't go wrong with that. You cover that puck line, get a little bit of profit. You miss out on the money line, it waves, but you hit both, you're cashing in some serious cash there. So sprinkle a little bit. Don't put the whole bankroll on there. I think you'll be doing good with the Devils +1.5 there. Last two picks of Thursday night, we got the LA Kings and the Calgary Flames. So for my friends on the East Coast, I'm sure a lot of you are on the East Coast here listening in. If you're on the West Coast, you might be thanking me for having some games to bet on during the afternoon, but we're going to a 10 o'clock game from Calgary and LA. So LA will be home here. You're looking at a Calgary team that has some of the best goaltending, one of the hottest goaltending starts in the history of the NHL right now, combined between Jacob Markstrom, forgetting their backup goaltender's name, but they have 7 or 8 shutouts to start this season. Don't give up a lot of goals. They're pretty talented team up front. We're seeing a lot of the studs that people thought would flourish in Calgary starting to get going again. And I think this is a great opportunity to grab the under 5.5, whether it's Cal Peterson in that or Jonathan Quick for the Kings. I think this will be a close game with LA being home. I don't imagine them going on a scoring tirade in this one, but I really do like the under 5.5. It's not a lot of goals, but with the goaltending we're seeing from both sides, both teams playing really well to start this season, it should be a really, really good affair. So the last pick I'll give here is the Calgary money line. I mean, Calgary's rolling. You're getting them at -135. I know they're on the road, but you can't miss those odds against an LA Kings team who I think is doing really well right now, or putting up a pretty good fight for the type of team they have. They're rebuilding a lot quicker than I think a lot of people have intended, but still got to look at that Calgary Flames team and say, this is the better team. Take the money line, take the under 5.5. Those are my picks for tonight. So quick recap. So we'll start the night with Florida Panthers -1.5 against Buffalo. Then we'll move on to the New Jersey Devils +1.5 against the Minnesota Wild on the road. Sprinkle that money line if you want, or don't. Up to you. Again, proceed with caution on any picks that you take here. Do a little research yourself. And then lastly, we'll finish on the West Coast with the LA Kings versus the Calgary Flames. LA will be home. We're going to take under 5.5, and then we'll take the Calgary Flames money line to win their little road trip to LA. So thanks for listening, guys. Let's win some money and get after it.
All right, going from the ice to the gridiron, we got Alan Studer of StuCast Sports joining us to give out all his college football plays this week. StuCast Sports, Alan Studer, take it away.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for pitching it back. We're almost at the end of the college football season. Hopefully we made you some money. We're going to try and make you some more. 2 plays this week as we enter into conference championship weekend. This has been a great season. Let's keep it rolling. We're going to start with a team that I love, a team I gave out before the season, a team of destiny. They are the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky, Bailey Zappi, Jarrett Stearns, the undeniable connection that's going on there. And look, they've got a big game, UTSA. These two teams met last time, 52-46 loss for the Hilltoppers. Currently, line stands 1.5, and the over-under at 73. And folks, you know where I'm going. Life is too short to bet the under, especially in this situation. Take the over. The over is money in the bank. And I tell you what, this team, right, is still, they're kind of dressed up. As a friend of ours, Andy Sterling, would say, they're dressed up. They've played some really bad offenses. They got lucky. Last week, Western Kentucky was playing Marshall. Grant Wells goes 10 for 10 before an injury. He was leading them up and down the field. Unfortunately, I think Frank Harris does the same thing here. However, I think there is something to be said for teams get better as the season occurs. Really hard to beat a team twice, and Western Kentucky is certainly not an easy cakewalk. And you add into that UTSA coming off a really tough loss in the game they really should have won against North Texas, a team who's improved again, started off miserably, really come around and played hard the last few weeks, getting some nice victories. So I think both teams reach into the 30s. Going to be really hard to stop each other. Going to be a hell of a game to watch on Friday night. Let's go Hilltoppers. Cash me some money. But for us, we're taking the over. And now we're going to flip it to the ACC. ACC championship game. Wake Forest getting 3 over under 73. And they're taking on the Pitt Panthers. Now, Kenny Pickett's no Dan Marino, but he gets the job done. And you look at this offense from him to Abanaconda to Addison. This team puts up points. They're very capable of putting up points against very defenses. And that pretty much describes Wake Forest, who relies heavily on turnovers. They're not getting turnovers. They're giving up touchdowns. Now, Sam Hartman's going to do his thing. I think Pittsburgh is maybe second or third best ACC defense currently right now. But, I mean, that's even tough to say because Clemson is – I think set themselves apart, and they've shown that this year. It's a really good defense. They got kind of put in really bad positions by their offense, but that Clemson defense is legitimately like pretty efficient. Pittsburgh, I think, is second best in efficiency, and Wake Forest struggles when they play a decent defense. You see it time and time again. They don't play really anybody defensively, and so Sam Hartman's able to light them up like a pinball machine. I don't think that happens here. I am, unfortunately, even though myself and this channel loves the Deacons, I'm going to give out Pittsburgh -3. I got more plays, folks, this weekend. We got Maction plays. We got Conference USA, another play in Conference USA. We've got tons more. Almost every single game we got you covered, and that is only on the Chalkboard app. Odds Honest Truth. Shout out to Craig. Shout out to Rich. Thank you for getting that thing going. And tell your friends about it because it's a lot of fun. Join in. So until bowl week, I am signing off saying enjoy conference championship weekend. Go Army, beat Navy, take the under. See you next time.
All right, and now from the college scene to the pros, we are back to the NFL. Rich and I are going to break down Sunday for you with a handful of picks and plays. Let's get started, Rich, with the team you love to bet against, and that is the Chicago Bears. They're facing the Arizona Cardinals, who have been a little bit up and down. They've been facing some injuries. Why don't you break this game down for us?
So the spread right now is -8, which if you have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins coming back, I think it's a good bet to have. The Bears right now, we don't know who their starting quarterback is going to be. Justin Fields practiced on Wednesday. But again, if it's Justin Fields or Andy Dalton, I don't care. Andy Dalton proved that, he can beat the Lions. He can't beat the Cardinals. And it's
he
not going to
couldn't
happen.
beat the spread against the Lions, though.
That's true. That's very true. But it's also the way that the Bears ended that game was disgraceful, just like basically taking a knee 18 times. But yeah, -8. You can't beat those odds unless you're, Jonathon Kinchen, who's buying a couple points, which by all means, if you want to do that, you should absolutely do that to buy it underneath the touchdown. I would do the same thing. But -8 right now is $25 to win 47.73. I think Kyler Murray is going to be fresh. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be fresh. Everyone's Jonathan on the show.
Too many Jonathan.
Yeah. Connor's going to score at least 1 touchdown. I know you love the 2 touchdown bet, but I'm not going to get that, feisty right now. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an easy one. The Cardinals are definitely the better team by a long shot. So
I agree with that 100%, especially with a fresh Kyler Murray, a fresh DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like, these are some of the better players in the NFL coming in fresh against a bad Bears team. Like, they're way more than 2 touchdowns better than this Bears team, in my opinion, which means you should probably bet the opposite with how cold I've been lately. But Rich gave out the pick, not me, so it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, this one's fun. If you want to bet money line and win $3, by all means, you could do that too. Next one, we're gonna go Washington football team against the Raiders. The Washington football team just beat the Seahawks, which just proved how bad the Seahawks are, but it also proved that Taylor Heineke can actually throw the ball a little bit. And Antonio Gibson can run the ball. And he broke up a beautiful 35-yard run that got called back at the end there, but whatever. I bet Antonio Gibson, but who cares? The spread right now, the Washington football team is actually getting 2.5, which I think is crazy because, on all facets of the ball right now, I think they're better than the Raiders. I'll take those 2.5 points. It's $25 to win 48.81. And I think that the football team is going to win outright. So the money line on this game is 25 to win $55. I also really like the under on this game. It's 49.5. $25 wins you 47.73. Waller is hurt, and Waller is the biggest playmaker on the Raiders. Josh Jacobs, he can't make up for that with his rushing attempts because he's not that kind of running back. Bryan Edwards is their number 1 wide receiver. I don't see a way that the Raiders score 21 points here. And the football team, I mean, they're going to win, but they don't score a ton of points either. So I think that's a really safe bet. Let's call it 21-24 at the end of the day. You're still under. So, give me those bets for this one. Let's go football team.
Yeah, I really like what the football team's been able to put together this season. I think they have some really interesting young talent. Logan Thomas was back last week for them and got involved in the offense. I think that the Raiders had a bit of an anomaly on Thanksgiving. They looked really, really good against the Dallas Cowboys, but that's not the Raider team that we have been seeing so far this season. Mm-hmm. I think that's why you're getting those 2.5 points for the football team. And I think they can really, I think that they'll win this game. I don't know if I'm as confident, but do you look at the injuries on the Las Vegas side? And I just don't know how they're going to be able to overcome that. But I also didn't see a scenario in which they could beat Dallas on Thanksgiving, and they did. So, things happen.
I mean, Waller played some of that game.
That's true.
So, I mean, Waller plays none of this game. So now they only really have to eliminate one person. Call it the Bill Belichick way, but Josh Jacobs, you might not want to start him this week in fantasy because he's going to get eliminated.
Probably worth taking the under on Josh Jacobs.
Probably worth it. Yeah. I mean, you got to see what it's at right now. It's not listed yet, but I mean, if it's anywhere within the 65 to 70 range, I think he's under.
There we go. I like that. I'll take this opportunity to chime in with a pick of my own. I gave out this team last week on Wednesday, and then I backtracked on them on our Sunday quick hitter show. And I'm really kicking myself for it because not only did they look good, but I didn't have a real reason as to why I backtracked. I just did. And that's the San Francisco 49ers. Had a hell of a game last week. They looked really good. And they're playing that team that we just talked about, Washington, putting the smackdown on. They're playing the Seattle Seahawks, who just look like an on-fire garbage can 24/7. So the spread is 3.5. And listen, after the performance last week, after the performances I've been seeing out of San Francisco, I'm betting this and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to bet it tonight probably so that I can't backtrack. And San Francisco minus 3.5 against this Seattle team is about as sure as I've felt all season long with any play. And I'm really kicking myself for not betting it last week. I had no reason. I just didn't. It was a weird Sunday.
So the one bet from this game that I know I'm going to bet on is the over on Jawan Jennings because Deebo Samuel is out this week. He pulled his groin, which is why the spread is what it is. If Deebo was playing, I think it would be a big spread. But anything over 40. I mean, like he's gonna go over. He's gonna jump into that Deebo Samuel role because Brandon Ayuk, I mean, he's serviceable, but he dropped off the face of the earth a little bit this year. So that's my little secret bet there. Jawan Jennings on the over receiving, but I do love this.
Stay tuned on Sunday morning because Rich and I come out with a 5 to 7 minute show with all the Sunday player props. I say morning, it'll probably come out around noon. But stay tuned on Sunday, right? Because we're gonna dive into these games a little bit further and give out all the plays on Chalkboard as well.
Yep, for sure. So speaking of plays, let's keep it going. I got 3 more for you. I got 2 unders and a double because I want to make it unique because we're recording the show on a Wednesday. We don't have a lot of player props, which is why we got the Sunday show. But my first under is going to be the Vikings and the Lions. This one is 100% locked, and Dalvin Cook is out of the game. You're losing the biggest playmaker. Well, I mean, they have a lot of playmakers on the Vikings, actually. It's just Kirk Cousins isn't great. Which is why they're going to go under. So Dalvin Cook's out of the game. They're against the Lions. DeAndre Swift is also out of the game. The 2 premier running backs are not in this game. So they're going to have to rely on the passing game. I don't think Jared Goff can do that. I don't think Jamal Williams is going to be able to step in and be that workhorse. So 46.5, $25 wins you 47.73. Go with the under on this. I think the Vikings win this game, but I'm not touching the spread. I just, I don't like this game at all. It's not going to be a game I want to watch. It's just the game that I want to bet because I think it's going to be kind of a drop down for both of these teams. So,
what do you think the over under is on the Goff interception line?
I mean, it's still 0.5 probably. So, I mean, you might want to just put your work check on there.
Yeah.
1.5 is really hard to do. I mean, you have to be Zach Wilson to be at that level, which he was. But he didn't throw 2. He only threw 1. And it was off the back of Ty Johnson, who just needed to catch 3 balls, which he didn't. So thanks. Free bet down the toilet. But, that's showbiz, baby. But next one, right into it. Rams versus Jags. We all know that the Rams are going to win this game. It's going to be really easy, and the spread is something stupid that you don't want to bet. So let's find something in the game that you want to bet so you can actually win some money. The double result, which means that the Rams have to be in the lead at halftime and at the end of the game, is $25 to win 33.82, which is only $8.82, but you can make it more money. You could do $250 to win 330.82, something like that, because we know this game's going to be a runaway. The Rams haven't won in 3 weeks. They haven't won since they got Odell Beckham. They haven't won since they got Von Miller. So this is the chicken noodle soup game because the Jags will not win this game. If the Jags win this game,
and if it isn't the chicken noodle soup game, Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, and worse than the Texans because I mean, like really bad. It's like Detroit, we have a problem. Yeah, if the Rams lose this game to the Jaguars, Stafford might as well just retire on the field, because they're not going to beat anyone in the playoffs. They need to get right now, and they need to just kind of get on that trajectory because if you're looking at their division, I mean, as a whole, it's less than what it used to be. The Cardinals obviously are a clear-cut number 1 team right now, but the Seahawks are a garbage fire, like you said, and the 49ers, they're dealing with injuries, but they're getting better. So this is the time for the Rams to kind of compete with the Cardinals again. But Los Angeles 25 to win 33.82. And my last and final play is the Bucks versus the Falcons game. The under, which is 50.5. And the reason for this is because the Bucks are absolutely going to stifle Matt Ryan, and it's going to be a bad time. I don't see the Falcons scoring more than 21 points. I don't see them scoring more than 17 points. And the Buccaneers, they're going to have such a comfortable lead that they're probably going to rely on Leonard Fournette, who had 4 touchdowns last week, or Rojo, who had a touchdown of his own. Antonio Brown got hurt again, so he's out a couple more weeks. I think this is going to kind of be like a coast game for the Buccaneers. So under 50.5, $25 wins you 47.73. You can bet the money line, your work check if you want to. I didn't even look at that because it's probably $25 to win 25.01. But it's a lot of good value with the over-unders. And obviously this week I'm loving the unders because there's a lot of players out. So those are my plays for this week.
Yeah, I really like that one. And another game that I'm really interested in this week, Rich, is going to be Monday Night Football. I think Monday Night Football should be a fun one. That's the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to think about this a little bit more over the next couple of days. So I'm not giving out the official pick. You'll have to tune in on Sunday. But Patriots right now, 2.5-point underdogs. And I know the Bills had their chicken noodle soup. But I don't know. This Patriot team doesn't seem to feel too comfortable with any other team winning the AFC East this year. They've been looking real good. You know, they're putting the beat down on teams. And the Bills bounced back, but it was against about as bad of a New Orleans Saints team as one could be. I don't know. I might be leaning towards that plus 2.5 for the Patriots because I'm just not trusting the Bills, but I'm gonna sleep on it. So this isn't an official pick yet. This is a preview. Sunday, we'll talk about it again. And who knows? Maybe I might even wait till Monday morning to give out the official pick. But that is one of the more fun games that I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Buy it up to 3.5, though. If you want to win, buy it to 3.5. That way you can watch the game in peace.
Yeah. It might be worth the point. We'll see how the rest of our picks and plays do throughout this weekend. Rich, is there anything else you want to add for the NFL this week, for any sport this week?
No, I mean, as always, bet Cole Anthony. You know, I'm going to shout him out in the NBA, bet him because he's back and healthy. But otherwise,
I was actually just about to bring up the NBA because you shared the promo earlier today. And that's another thing we're doing on Chalkboard is sharing these sportsbook promos with you guys. Bet $100 on Caesars in the NBA and get yourself a free NBA jersey. So bet some winners and then you can make money and get the free jersey. Because if you're like me, you would just lose $100 and then you could have just bought the jersey.
But the jersey is like 140. So I mean,
so either way,
still in the profit. Yeah.
Either way, you're in the green. But that's a nice little fun promo. Cole Anthony is back, and our man Jarrett Strenner is out here giving out some really great analysis of the NBA. So, guys, that's going to do it for this week's show. A reminder, get involved over on Chalkboard and ITM Whiskey, hashtag ITM Whiskey. Next week, we're giving away a bottle of this, and I'm telling you, it's delicious. I've had this bottle for a while, and I savor every single drop because it is that good. I break it out for special occasions, big wins. That's why I have a lot of it, because I haven't been winning a lot lately. If you can't make fun of yourself, you're just going to have a bad time. Hashtag ITM Whiskey on any Chalkboard feed, and we're giving away a free bottle next week. All you got to do is download the app, join the Odds Honest Truth community, and message hashtag ITM Whiskey, and then make some money off of some bets from people smarter than me. Thank you so much to everyone who joined this show. We had Jonathon Kinchen, we had John Hazlett, we had Jarrett Strenner, we had David Dubovi, we had Thomas Crincoli, and we had Alan Studer, and we had the man, the myth, the legend, Rich Wilhelm as well. I've been Craig Gorbanoff, producer Craig. This has been the Odds Honest Truth. We will see you guys on Sunday for our AM player props and final picks show. And until next time, allegedly, that'll do it.